Number 10. Wild Wild Country. In Wild Wild Country, sex parties, wild dancing, red-clad followers, and a suspicious salmonella outbreak are only the tip of the iceberg. The narrative centers on the contentious uprising of the Rajneesh Param community in Antelope, Oregon, and the man who inspired it, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. You may know him as Osho. The documentary series dives deep into the guru's life during the 1980s, when he and his disciples left India and settled on a ranch in the tiny retirement community of Antelope. With grandiose aspirations to someday reaching 50,000 people, it was intended to accommodate 10,000 followers. Antelope residents were not happy to have what they thought was a sex cult living in their neighborhood. What started as a constitutional dispute quickly turned into a full-scale war with weapons, a bioterror attack, and death threats. Number 9. American Murder. The Family Next Door. The killings of the Watts family have become one of the most infamous and shocking tragedies in modern American history. Chris Watts looked to have it all: a lovely, happy family and a magnificent suburban house in Colorado. However, photographs of what looked to be a picture-perfect family now tell a different story, that of an imminent family annihilator. When his pregnant wife, Shannon Watts, and his two young girls, Bella 4 and Celeste 3, mysteriously disappeared in August 2018, he initially seemed worried. However, he quickly confessed to their murders. The film depicts the events using archive film, social media postings, law enforcement records, text messages, and home camera footage. The film is structured like a found footage mystery, not revealing until the middle of the movie that Chris Watts killed his family. Number 8. Amanda Knox. The film documents the murder of Knox's roommate, Meredith Kircher, and the subsequent investigation, trials, and appeals. Knox was convicted of murder and spent 4 years in an Italian jail before being exonerated by the Supreme Court of Cessation. Her notoriety was bolstered by tabloid journalism and a satanic sex cult-obsessed Italian prosecutor. Following her wrongful conviction for the 2007 murder of Meredith Kircher, Knox was exonerated in 2018. Number 7. Night Stalker. The Hunt for a Serial Killer. Night Stalker: The Hunt for a Serial Killer is a 4-part true crime documentary miniseries about the serial killer Richard Ramirez. Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, was an American serial murderer, serial rapist, kidnapper, child molester, and burglar whose crime spree occurred between June 1984 and August 1985 in California. In 1989, he was convicted and condemned to death. Number 6. Don't with Cats: Hunting an Internet Killer. The series follows the events that occurred during a crowd-sourced amateur investigation into a series of animal cruelty acts committed by Canadian pornographic performer Luke Magnotta. In 2010, Magnotta started uploading 3 disturbing videos online, which ultimately grew into a series. In them, he recorded kittens being smothered or drowned, and another being devoured by a large snake. This is where the tale of Do Not with Cats starts. The series follows internet investigators' search for the man in the videos, which became a global manhunt as Magnotta intensified his crimes. In 2012, he murdered Lin Jun, a 33-year-old Chinese student studying computer engineering, and posted an internet video of himself killing Lin and violating his body. Number 5. O.J. Made in America. O.J. Made in America chronicles the life and career of O.J. Simpson via interviews, news footage, and archival audio and video. Beginning with his entrance at the University of Southern California as a young aspiring football hero and through to his imprisonment for robbery in 2007, this is probably one of the most in-depth accounts of Simpson's life. The story of Simpson's life, the football success, television and acting career, relationship with Nicole Brown, the domestic abuse, Nicole and Ron Goldman's murder and the trial, runs parallel to the larger narrative of the city of Los Angeles, which is host to mounting racial tensions and a volatile relationship between the police department and the African American community. In addition to footage from the Watts riots, the complete Rodney King film was included, when most news sources and documentaries just use excerpts. These two events are utilized to establish and explain what transpired during the Simpsons murder trial. Number 4. Making a Murderer. Making a Murderer is a true crime documentary television series that gives an account of Stephen Avery, a man from Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, who spent 18 years in jail for the false conviction of Penny Bjornson's sexual assault and attempted murder. He was subsequently accused of the murder of Teresa Halbach in 2005 and convicted of the crime in 2007. The linked narrative is that of Brendan Dassey, who was charged and convicted of being an accomplice to murder. Making a Murderer is possibly the most polarizing documentary on the list. The lines are still drawn over whether he is innocent of the murder. Number 3. The Staircase. The Staircase is a 2004 French-produced English-language documentary miniseries about the trial of Michael Peterson. Camera crews were granted access to the extended family of the accused, the defense counsel, and the courtroom. Michael Peterson is an American author who was found guilty of killing his second wife, Kathleen Peterson, on December 9, 2001. After 8 years, a judge granted Peterson a new trial after concluding that a crucial prosecution witness presented misleading evidence. Peterson entered an Alford plea in 2017 to the reduced charge of manslaughter. He was condemned to time served and then released. Number 2. The Jinx. The series covers the unresolved disappearance of Kathy Durst in 1982, the execution-style murder of Susan Berman in 2000, and the death and dismemberment of Robert Durst's neighbor, Morris Black, in Galveston, Texas in 2001. Durst was suspected in the first 2 murders and confessed to the third. However, he claimed self-defense and was acquitted at trial. The series utilizes a broad range of existing material, including news videos, surveillance films, police evidence, and historical interviews. Following an interview for the series, Durst went to the restroom and delivered a rambling monologue to himself off camera, apparently unaware that his microphone is still recording, concluding with,
"What the hell did I do? Kill them all, of course."
Based on fresh information provided in the miniseries, the FBI arrested Durst in New Orleans on March 14, 2015, the day before the last episode aired, on a first-degree murder warrant issued by the LAPD in connection with Berman's death. Our choice for the best true crime documentary to watch is a toss-up between 2 very influential pieces of film that helped save the lives of 3 young men and may lead to the possible identification of the person responsible for the murder of 3 little boys. Number 1. Paradise Lost Trilogy and West of Memphis. The Paradise Lost Trilogy. The film documents the events that took place after the arrest of Miss Kelly, Eccles, and Baldwin, also known as the West Memphis 3, for the murders of Christopher Byers, Michael Moore, and Stevie Branch. The bodies of the 3 victims were found naked and hogtied in a ditch in an area of West Memphis, Arkansas, known as Robin Hood Hills. The documentary's directors, Joe Berlinger and Bruce Sinofsky, conducted interviews with a large number of people connected to the case. These interviews included the parents of the victims, the parents of the accused, members of the West Memphis Police Department, WMPD, and all of the defendants. The trilogy, is known as Paradise Lost, is widely considered to be among the most influential works of documentary filmmaking produced in the modern era. For one reason, it serves as a compelling illustration of the significant role that film can play in driving societal change. If not for these movies, it is possible that one of the West Memphis 3 would have been put to death, while the other 2 would have been sentenced to spend the rest of their lives rotting in jail. West of Memphis. Along the same theme as the film Paradise Lost and its 2 follow-ups, West of Memphis chronicles the events of the West Memphis 3 case. West of Memphis focuses on Terry Hobbs, the stepfather of Stevie Branch, one of the victims of the 1993 crime. Hobbs came to the attention of the filmmakers as a potential suspect due to physical evidence linking him to the crime, a history of violent behavior, and his lack of an alibi for the time the murders were committed. Damaging statements made by his ex-wife, former neighbors, and most recently his nephew, who claims Hobbs confessed to him, have put Hobbs firmly on the radar. The documentary questions why the police chose not to question Terry Hobbs at the time of the killings. True crime documentaries entertain us, caution us, and intrigue us. They are now becoming a tour de force in exposing corrupt law enforcement, unjust trials, and murderers who have been hiding in the shadows for too long. Thank you for watching Bad Things. Hit the subscribe button, like button, and notification bell, and share our channel for our up-and-coming true crime videos.